Okay, so we have Sean Strickland versus Sneako, and it is crazy to think that these two ended up in a room together, let alone a cage together. I really don't even have that much to say. I mean, I think everybody has their own ideas of how this is probably going to go, and they're all probably very similar to each other. I think we'll just go ahead and let it speak for itself. I'm going to press play, but I am going to pause it real quick because there's a little something that happens before they get started that you old head MMA fans, you old school MMA fans will probably appreciate. So with that said, let's go ahead. All right, so there's Sean, there's Sneako, if you didn't already know. And I apologize in advance for the watermark here. All right, so this guy right here, all right, this guy who came in to check on what was going on. This is Forrest Griffin. This is an MMA legend. This guy was really one of the two people who saved the UFC. They were not doing very well back in the late 90s, early 2000s, and then Dana White came up with The Ultimate Fighter. Forrest Griffin was the winner of Tough Season 1. He ended up fighting Stephan Bonner, a guy that my coach actually trained with. And it was such a good fight. It was a barn burner. And because of that, people started paying attention to the UFC. That's how crazy the fight was. In addition to that, he fought a lot of other people, a lot of other legends, and he did pretty damn well. He comes from that time where it was less about what it is today. I'll just say that. I won't get into that too much. But it was more about just testing yourself against whoever was across the cage from you. It wasn't about picking who you thought you could beat and who would be a good fight for you and things like that. Before big business really got into MMA. So if you know who this is, you probably were pleasantly surprised to see him. And I think it's funny because Forrest Griffin he's such a nice guy. He saw Sean Strickland in there with skinny ass Sneako. And he was like, I got to check in on this. I got to make sure this guy is not about to die. So here he is. But with that said, let's go ahead.
So he's Dan's buddy. Ready? I'm not going to hit him in the body. You know, you're not going to hit him in the body.
Look at that shit-eating grin on Sean's face. So Sneako goes jab body, jab head. Kind of a double jab to the head. Kind of pawing, though. It's not like he's actually trying to hit him. And Sean's going to be talking smack this whole time as well. I'm going to be talking over him. So one thing I like seeing Sneako do is when he throws to the body, specifically the jab, and then there was a cross there, he's moving his head off the center line. He's not just throwing to the body like that. He's moving his head as he throws the punch, which is good. That's going to keep him a little bit more protected. Now, another thing, though, that you'll see is he's kind of throwing arm punches at other points, specifically his cross and then his hook. He's not really turning on them the way that he should. That was a nice little hook. It looked like it kind of smacked Sean in the face, and then he landed with a couple of jabs. But the issue is Sean's not trying to defend those, and that's kind of why they're landing. So it looked like Sneako snuck a cross in there. So jab to the body. Again, Sean's just kind of letting him work right now, right? He's not really trying. So I'm not saying Sneako isn't earning any of the shots that he lands. I'm just saying that not all those punches that landed were punches that would have landed if Strickland was trying even 10% more. So right now, Sean's just sort of tying up the hands. Sean likes to walk you down, right? Sean just moves forward, he walks you down. And I'm wondering what would happen if Sneako just buried his forehead in Sean's chest and started ripping the body and then going up on top, right? Just trying to see if he can keep Sean busy thinking about the body and then just land an overhand of some kind, right? Sean almost kind of fights similar to how Sam fights, right? And that's how I have to fight Sam. So I'm wondering if that would kind of befuddle Sean a little bit, because Sean, he walks you down, but he also keeps you at his distance. He makes you very uncomfortable. I'm wondering what would happen if Sneako just decided to be the rock that Sean would break himself off of. So Sneako, again, kind of throwing arm punches to the body, not really making anything work. Oh, jab snuck through, and Sean's like, oh. I have to say, in my opinion, Sean is being a little bit cringe right now, if I'm just being honest, you know. There's no need to talk that much smack. Any second now. Any second now.
In your brain, did you think this is how it was going to go?
You see, again, Sean just kind of talking smack.
Sneako's not doing bad.
And then his buddy's like, he's not doing bad. Yeah, because Sean's not. Sean is allowing him. He is being a walking punching bag for Sneako. Again, it's kind of arm punches to the body, right? And that time, you'll notice Sneako didn't move his head off the center line, right? He just kind of threw hooks like that, which is very dangerous for him. Again, arm punch, and he's not moving his head off the center line. In addition to that, he's dropping his hands. And, oh, here we go. So, Sneako's shelling up, and we're going to look at this half speed. A lot of those are not landing. You also see the towels going in. There's another one. That was, what, 3-4 towels thus far? Ooh, those got through. Yeah, those got through. And the head snapping back, and you can see Forrest Griffin decides to be merciful and jump in, right? Literally has to step between them and face Sean to be like, dude, knock it off, bro. Man, I've never seen so many towels going. That's pretty damn crazy. Now, obviously, Sneako got beat up, but we're going to take another look at half speed, and you're going to notice it's not actually as bad as you may have thought it was. And really, it's funny to me because there's a lot of people who are sitting there, and they're kind of making fun of Sean Strickland because Sneako didn't end up falling over, right? He didn't end up having to take a knee. He didn't get knocked down or anything like that. And yeah, I mean, Sneako didn't get knocked down, but, I mean, if it didn't get stopped, he definitely would have got knocked down. And in addition to that, like I said, we'll take a look now, right? We'll go ahead. So it's about here, all right? I'm going to mute it. And then we're going to go, I just want to double check. Yes, half speed, okay? This is about the time where Sean opens up. And you're going to notice, okay? It's about right here. So that landed for sure. That may have landed. None of those landed, though. You can see his hands are up and he's catching punches on his arms. Anything that does get through, it only sort of gets through. That got through. That uppercut. But again, none of those are really landing. That slapping hook kind of got through. Looks like that right hand from Sean got through as well. That uppercut, but it didn't really land that square. You see, so thus far, right, in that little exchange, Sneako really didn't get hit with much. So there was really no reason for him to get knocked down. And actually, like, I guess that's good on Sneako for keeping his hands up and trying to stay as cool as he possibly could. I understand why he wasn't necessarily firing back. He's probably more worried about not getting hit than he is trying to give it back to Sean or anything like that. But really, it looks a lot worse than it actually is right now. Now, it's about to get a lot worse, and we're going to go ahead, we're going to unpause it. There's a towel. So, neither of those landed. Didn't land, kind of slapping. But there, 2, 3, 4. That was 4 hard left hooks. The thing is, right, there's a couple of different kinds of left hooks that you could throw, right? Some of them are considered to be technically good, right? The technique is sound, it is good technique, and then there's some hooks that are not considered to be very good technique. A slapping hook is not considered to be good technique, and that's what Sneako got hit with a couple of times from the start of Sean kind of laying it on him all the way to the end. But those last 4, he got hit square with some very technically sound hooks. Sean was turning the fist in so that he was landing with the knuckles. He was getting multiple different groups of muscles into those hooks. They were powerful, right? In addition to that, you'll notice that there was some disrespect on not just the hooks, but basically everything Sean was throwing, whether or not it landed. A lot of people don't understand the difference between 100% and 90% isn't that 100% is necessarily harder than 90%. It's more that 100% is more disrespectful than 90%, right? 90% is, I want to hit this guy hard. 100% is, I want to break something on this guy. I want him to sit his ass down, right? That's kind of the difference between the two. And if Sean was not going at 100%, he was going damn near 100%. And you can tell because of the the ferocity, right? Just the sheer way that not only did he lay it on him, but he hit him with one hook and then another and then another and then another. And like I said, people are talking about, oh, Sneako didn't go down. Yeah, because Sneako only really got hit with 4 hard punches, right? I'm not saying Sneako's not tough, right? I'm just saying that he doesn't have some kind of iron chin. You probably shouldn't consider this to be some big, like, oh, Sneako's a tough guy moment. He's not. He only got hit with 4 real punches. And, I mean, look, if that was allowed to continue, he would have gone down with maybe 1 or 2 more punches tops. It wouldn't have been a whole minute and a half of Sean just spamming left hook, right? Just hook, 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 with Sneako's head just snapping, right? It wouldn't be them going in a circle doing that, right? He would have fallen over eventually. So, it's not some kind of thing where it's like, oh, Sean is totally, wow, he's not as good as you would think he is. That's a very casual way to look at things, right? That because Forrest Griffin stepped in to try and make sure Sneako doesn't die, that means Sean Strickland is not that good. Did he need to knock him down? Was that ass kicking not enough? Right? I hate calling people casuals, but it's kind of a casual thing to say and do concerning this. And also, Sneako is not some kind of big tough guy for this. He stepped into that cage, regardless of who asked who to spar. It doesn't matter who asked who to spar. He stepped in that cage knowing that this is Sean Strickland and that he was going to get beat up. That's not... There's no respect that he's gained from me personally, right? I know that I'm cool with Brandon Buckingham. I really like Brandon. He's such a cool dude. I consider him to be a friend of mine, right? And he and Sneako have had issues. It's not even necessarily about like the beef that Brandon and he have, and I'm like, I'm trying to stick by a buddy of mine. No, it's not even really that. It's just like, you don't want to see clowns, don't go to the circus. Sneako decided he wanted to see a clown, so he went to the circus. Sneako decided he wanted to get his ass beat, so he went to Sean Strickland. Okay, that's really what it is. I'm not looking at Sneako any different. I'm not even really like making fun of him or anything like that. I happen to think what happened is funny, but not in a way that's meant to be like, haha, Sneako, you loser, haha. Not even like that. It's more that I've been there. I've gotten my ass beat too. Everybody takes their lumps. And the best thing you can do about it is just sort of laugh about it when it comes down to it. Everybody is going to end up getting knocked out, whether it's in the gym. And if it's in the gym, I hope you don't like sincerely get knocked out. What I mean is you're going to kind of get your ass beat, right? But if you end up in a fight, you're going to end up getting knocked out. I've been knocked out. And I mean, like, seriously, like, I got hit and I could not see straight for, like, 10, 15 minutes. That's happened to me, and I just kind of laughed about it because it's like, oh, man, I knew that could happen. I knew that probably would happen. So there's really no reason for me to be surprised or upset in that way or anything like that. It just is what it is, And that's kind of the way that I see this is like, all right, that was funny. Sneako got his lumps, all right? He got lumped up by a former world champion. Man, I remember my first spar, right? But yeah, it just kind of is what it is. There's no alpha energy or anything like that. None of that. I think Sneako really also wants Sean Strickland to like him. And Sean Strickland, I don't think likes Sneako that much. I got to be honest with you. And this is not the first time Sean Strickland and Sneako have met. There was a time at a UFC card where Sneako basically shoved a camera in Sean's face and was like, hey, champ, a really big fan of yours. And Sean immediately, the gears just started turning in his head, and he started interrogating Sneako in that way that he does, where he's like, so what are you, a streamer? So what are you doing? What are you doing with your life? What are you doing to be a man? That way that Sean Strickland kind of interrogates people that he gets this like weird pussy feeling from, right? I think he got that pussy feeling from Sneako immediately, and he was like, no, I don't respect this guy. And I think this is sort of an extension of that. I think Sneako thought that if he sparred with Strickland, that would mean, he'd gain Strickland's respect. I think Sean probably feels about the same way about him, if we're being honest here. But that is what it is. I thought one thing I will say, I thought it was funny how his whole team was there getting everything on video, and they were all like, yeah, do this, do that, Sneako, you're doing great. I mean, the dude who filmed this was like, wow, Sneako's not doing bad. I think it's funny how they were all kind of high and mighty about it, and then all of a sudden Sean opens up, and you see towel after towel after towel get thrown in. That's all Sneako's yes men. That's Sneako's little team of yes men who it's their job to make sure Sneako doesn't look like a punk, and they failed. Right, they failed. It did not work. Like I said, 4 or 5 towels get thrown in, and it took Forrest Griffin peeling Sean off to actually get it to work the way it was supposed to. But that's all that I have for you for this video. If you enjoyed it, leave a like and also sub for more. If you have anything to say, leave a comment down below. And if you have any questions for me, hit me up on Instagram, @ScottSullivanMMA. I love making question and answer videos. Other than that, thank you very much for watching. And until next time, good luck out there.